Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. It's your host, Matt Heath. I gotta tell you, folks, it's hard for me to do this monologue because, I feel like I surround myself listening to famous comics, and they're all playing ignorant to what's going on in the community because that's what they choose to do. And I think that's kind of bullshit because people need to talk about what's going on, and I just want to say that I am for any movement in Black Lives Matter and any kind of protest and any kind of thing you want to do and go out there and hold a sign or friggin' go out there and chant, go out there and live your life, pass out in a friggin' fast food parking lot if you want to, fucking just live your life. You should be able to do all of those things. Anybody should. Everybody should. Everyone has the right to live. It's not right that it's not right that cops can just have a shoot first and ask questions later. And I'm not saying that all cops are bad, but I am saying there are bad ones out there. And what happened to George Floyd is a goddamn tragedy. I mean, the fact is, he's a modern day Tom Robinson. Like, if you actually took that character out of, I feel like that's what he looks like. He's Tom Robinson, but where's your fucking Atticus Finch, man? Where is he? How much more do I want to say about that? I just want to say it's not enough. It's not enough to go out there if you're white. It's not enough to go out there and say Black Lives Matter and just be a protester. I think black folks, yes, they have the right to protest and go protest. But if you're, a white guy like me, I feel like showing that Black Lives Matter is almost more important, Friggin', you want to mow your neighbor's lawn, you want to help, somebody with groceries, friggin' anything, Just a simple, kind, active gesture, Buy your neighbor a bottle of Hennessy because he mowed your lawn that one time. I know that one sounds oddly specific, but just do those types of things, and you gotta be down for the cause. Because I don't know, I had this dream last night, and Michael Keaton was in it, and he said to me, If you look for chaos in your life, you're gonna get chaos in your life. And I feel like some of these cops out here are just asking for that chaos. And then they get the chaos because they shoot first and ask questions later. Huh. I could shit on the president for a little bit more, but I mean, what the fuck would be the point? I have a great show for you guys today. Addie Brown's on the show. Holy shit. Great comic, great lady. I got to know her in Greenwich Village Comedy Club. She worked on the TV show The View. And maybe I just want to say it's like just like a time for like a reformation of the police. You know, maybe not so much defund them as just like reform them. You know, new training. Like something's got to be done, and it's got to be done from the top, and it can't just be a fucking bunch of clowns like the way people at the top have been acting. Anyways, if you want to buy one of my books, go to Amazon.com, type in Scared Out of Dickens, Pawnbrokers, Renaissance Men. You get one of my books on Amazon.com. I also got my album, Class Clown Revisited, at Tumbleweeds in Niantic. Go get one while you still can. SweetHeal.com. We got hand sanitizer. They got lotion. It's all CBD stuff. So you'll get 20% off an order of $50 or more if you just use the promo code 1000comics. Before we get into my interview with Addie, I just want to say that check out the Lenny Bruce Foundation. It's a site you could donate money to, and it helps people struggling with addiction. It helps helps people out in sober homes and sober living and stuff like that. And I just befriended Lenny Bruce's daughter, Kitty Bruce. She's a very sweet woman. I'm glad I had a chance to have like a couple great conversations with her during this pandemic. And hopefully I'll have her on the show. We're waiting for her father's lost album to drop, I guess, which is fucking some of the most exciting shit in the world. But I'd like you guys to enjoy my interview with Addie Brown, man. She's a very sweet comic, and one of the funniest people I've met from Harlem, and this one's one of the Zoom ones. I'm trying the Zoom thing for a little while, maybe until the pandemic's completely over and we could just do regular interviews again. All right, enjoy.
Okay, no problem.
Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. I'm sitting here with Addie Brown. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I hear a dog barking. You got a dog?
Susie, come here. Yes, she's a mess.
So we're doing. I typically do these interviews face to face. I like to have comics over my place and do interviews right after shows and mics and whatnot. But here we are on Zoom. I'm looking to branch out now and interview state to state and kind of get people,
on board through Zoom. The internet is
through Zoom. And this is your second time doing Zoom?
Yep. I had a doctor's appointment on Zoom. she says, "You're not looking too good." I'm like, "Neither are you." But yeah, this is my second time on Zoom, so it's a good thing to have. Seems like.
Most definitely. Now, do you remember? Do you remember meeting me
at Greenwich? On Greenwich Village, at Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
Oh, okay. So
Evan Weiss show.
Whose show was it? Do you remember?
Evan Weiss.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to remember the jokes that I told. I can't really remember, but I remember specifically you had a joke about having a square ass like SpongeBob. I think you called you SpongeBob square ass or something.
Yes. That's one of my jokes.
Is that still something that's in your routine?
Yes. I'm building up on that joke. So it's a whole story behind that joke.
Really?
About my great niece.
Okay.
And I'm just building and building and building to just make it a funny story. So it's a long story, but when you only have 5 minutes, you just got to premise punchline.
I hear you.
But when I do a 1 hour special, then everybody going to hear the entire joke.
That's great. I'm glad that joke has an evolution to it. It's not just a throwaway one-liner. It definitely stuck out in my memory, even though it was a couple years ago.
It sure did. It sure did.
So am I talking to you? Are you at your apartment in Harlem right now, or?
Yes, I'm at my apartment in Harlem.
How are things going over there?
It's good. It's good. I would be glad when they just let us all go outside. It's time for me to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even go out to get groceries or anything like that?
I do. I go out to get groceries. I go out to doctor's appointments, and I walk the dog.
Yeah. Do you wear the mask?
Yes.
How are people in Harlem about wearing the mask? Is everyone wearing the mask out there?
No, of course not. Wear a mask. Please. I don't want them to wear a mask because I don't want to get robbed. You can't see who's behind the mask.
I hear you. There's definitely, the mask is totally a double-edged sword kind of thing.
It is. Because they're giving people opportunities to wear masks all the way up to here.
Yeah.
So what is their eyes?
Now, I've been helping out. I've been working at Domino's since this pandemic started because it's the only thing that I could really do that's like essential. And this lady comes in yesterday and starts giving the employees shit about wearing the mask over your mouth, or it should be over the nose. She's saying, like, everyone's got the mask over the mouth, but not over the nose. And I'm just thinking, like, this entitled bitch coming in here, all the employees shit. like, do you have to work in a hot restaurant, while wearing a mask? Like,
that's crazy. She should have said you should be home making your own pizza.
Exactly. If you're that worried about getting sick, you shouldn't be out buying fast food anyways.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell, right?
Typical. But yeah, the mask is horrible. It's really like horrible, 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 especially when it's hot outside.
Well, let's get off the pandemic stuff for a little while and stop depressing the listeners. I know it was my fault that I brought it up.
Okay.
So what have you been doing with your creative endeavors during this time? You can't really get out there to do stand-up. Are you doing like these Zoom mics or anything like that?
No.
Zoom shows? No?
No. I've been making mugs.
Oh, you made that mug? I noticed it, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah, this is Essential Worker 2020.
I like it.
Thank you.
How do I get one?
Inbox me your info, and I can make you up one and send it to you.
Oh, I'd love to have one. I need more mugs in my apartment. Whenever I have a guest to have coffee for the podcast, I only have one mug.
Well, actually, I can make you a actual mug for your podcast, 1,000 Comics.
Oh, I'd like that too. That'd be great.
Yeah, just let me know.
You're like a Renaissance woman. You do a little bit of everything, huh?
Yes. You gotta eat.
I read that you work on the show The View.
Yes, I used to. I used to work on The View, but I still have opportunities to go back if I want to.
What did you do on that show?
I was their security.
Oh, really? So your job was to protect Star Jones and all those girls, huh?
I wasn't there with Star Jones. Okay. I was there with Sherry Shepard, Elizabeth Hasselback, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Barbara Walters.
Okay.
When that whole crew was there.
And it was your job to make sure none of these crazy women that got like a free crock pot in the audience just napped.
Well, My job really was, I was the announcer. So when the ladies came in, I just told them no food allowed, no outside food. They have to remain seated and no cell phone, no taking pictures with their cell phone.
Okay.
And so I would do that announcement, and then I would go inside the studio to make sure that no audience member would stand up or take a picture or do a recording.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, that's a pretty cool gig.
That was cool. I met so many people.
Who was the most interesting meeting you had there? Interaction?
President Obama.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What was that like?
I was like, oh my God! My boss was like, stop it. Just stop.
I mean, he's definitely one to get excited about. To tell you the truth, I've never really watched The View.
Okay.
But you know what I did? I was watching that show, Kidding, with Jim Carrey last night, and there's a episode where he's on The View. It's like a show within the show.
Right.
And he was selling his toy or whatever. I thought that was interesting. I was reading that you worked on The View and saw that basically at the same time. I was like,
right.
What an odd connection.
Right. So that was my experience at The View. So it was a good experience. It was a good run.
So what are you working right now? Are you, I mean, other than making mugs, are you working or?
My first day back to work is June 10th.
Okay.
And then I'm working from June 10th to June 30th. Back
at The View or what?
No, I'm at Columbia University.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So that's it.
So when did you get started in comedy?
10 years ago.
Okay. What was the first club you did?
My very first time on stage, I was as a improvist. I did a sketch comedy and improv show with a group called Sister Girl TV.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to get down with the characters that they created for the sketch comedy. So I just started writing my own sketch, like my own one-woman sketch. And then I was really good at improv. Like when they put me on the stage for improv, it was the audience really was like, that chick is funny.
Yeah.
She's really funny. So that's how I got started. My very first show on stage was at the New Eurekian Cafe in the Lower East Side.
Okay.
And then one of my sisters from the church invited me to a comedy show. And I'm at the comedy show as a visitor. And a couple of comics couldn't come in because we was having like a hurricane or whatever. And the host of the show said to my sister, "Is this your sister that's funny?" And my sister said, "Yeah." And he said, "Listen, my comics is not able to make it. I need you to perform." I said, "Well, I don't do stand up. I don't have a skit." He was like, "All right, you up next." I'm like, "What?" He said, "You're up next." I said, "We have a skit." He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Addie Brown." He introduced me. I went up there on stage, and when I tell you that was the funniest set that I have ever done in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes. The funniest set. People came up, they stood up and was clapping for me. And I'm like, was I that funny? And the guy said, yes. I was up there 20 minutes, just off the top of my head. Premise, punchline, didn't even know what I was doing. And was very funny. And I haven't gotten that funny yet since that day.
What do you think it is about that? Do you think it was just so raw, so like?
I think that when we get on stage, we let our personality go out the window, and we just think that we have to perform accordingly to the audience. Like, since I've been on stage, my personality just went out the window, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm on a job interview. When I get on stage, I put on this job interview act. Hi, hello, and that's really not me. So I'm learning how to do it, become me on stage. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like I did
it's all about finding yourself up there too. You know what I mean? And it's weird because it's like you just said, you've been doing it 10 years. I've been doing it almost that long too. And it's weird because it's like it's like a lifelong process to find yourself on stage, you know?
What I realized is when you write out the script verbatim and get on stage and try to perform that script verbatim as if it's a script that someone has given you and you got to perform it, your personality go out the window. So if I write down a headline, a title like SpongeBob SquarePants, I already know to go to that story and shorten the story and just get it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my very first time on stage, 2 days prior to that, Snoop Dogg was at The View.
Really?
Right? Yeah, he was at The View. And it was like a bunch of older white women that was really like into Snoop. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was a lady, I would never forget her. She was like 70 years old. She was with her husband. And she said, who's going to be on the show today? I said, Snoop. She said, yes, I know. I'm here to be his bitch and hoe. I was like, what? It was so like, what? She started to sing his songs from the 90s. She started singing all of his lyrics.
Right.
And I'm like, looking at her like, and her husband said, I have to deal with this every day. I was like, oh my gosh. So at the end part, when we went to the elevator, she gonna say, deuces. I told that story and had the audience crying. And ever since then, I've been trying to tell stories like that on stage without thinking about it. Because I would thoughts be like, what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna say it. And I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm gonna get it soon. I believe I got it. I just need to get out of my head. Get out of my way.
I think, I don't know. Do you think, in terms of comedy, do you think the pandemic has affected you negatively or positively?
Positively. Because sometimes you got to stop. And I was looking at all my old videos, taking notes on myself when I'm on stage and saying, I could have said this joke this way. I could have started this joke this way. So I have a book full of notes on all the jokes that I've been telling for the past 7 years.
Right.
That I've recorded myself. And I'm looking at my progress, how I level up each time. But it's time for me to take it to the next level, where I'm going out to comedy clubs every night, hitting it up, just hitting the comedy club up every night. If I can support other comedians, going out, being that extra person that you needed in order to get on stage. You get what I'm saying? Going out, mingling with others.
I totally get what you mean by leveling up. I don't even think I think of it in terms like that. I think of it in terms like, this pandemic is driving me crazy. And the crazier I am, I think the funnier I will be. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Like, I'm looking at commercials now, writing jokes about commercials, something I would have never done in March. I would have never wrote about commercials because I always put my jokes on me. But I'm looking at commercials like, that shit is funny. That is so funny.
Totally.
So yeah, the pandemic is a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? It's a bad thing because we lost a lot of lives, right? But it's a good thing because we stood still and is able to work our craft. Some people work our craft the way we need to.
Totally. Are you originally from Harlem, or where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Okay.
And that's where I was born. And my grandmother moved us from the slums of Mississippi to the ghettos of Harlem.
And how old were you when you left Mississippi?
4.
4? So what were your memories of Mississippi like?
I don't have any. I only have memories from Mississippi of when I was went back. Like when I was 10 years old and went back down there. When I was 11 and went back down there. So my memories of Mississippi was a big family,
Right.
huge family. That's it. Oh, when we was in Mississippi, we didn't wear shoes.
You didn't wear shoes?
No, we walked around barefoot.
I feel like that's very common in the South. Like I remember I was in Virginia and I stopped at a McDonald's and there was a bunch of people not wearing shoes in that McDonald's, and I was like, that is the most disgusting thing.
Yeah, we didn't wear shoes. The ground was hot. I remember eating good food,
Yeah.
good food. And I just remember having a big family.
So do you remember why the family moved to Harlem, or?
It was, I don't know. My grandmother moved up here first, and then she brought one of her daughters with her kids.
Right.
And then my mother was like, I'm going where my mama at, I guess. And I've been up here ever since.
And now look at you. You're doing stand-up comedy, working on The View. Can you imagine what life would have been like if you grew up in Mississippi?
I probably would have been married with like 5 kids, a housewife probably, pissed the fuck off. I don't know. I don't know.
You're single now, right? You don't have any kids?
I don't have any kids, no. But I have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's like where a lot of your humor comes from. Your nieces and nephews giving you a hard time, right?
They just funny. The great nieces and nephews are just funny. You know, kids say the darndest things. They say what's on their mind. They're not like adults. They don't hold nothing back. They will look you up and down like, need to fix that wig. One of my nephews came in my apartment and he looked at my apartment. He says, for Christmas, I'm going to ask Santa Claus to give you a living room. I said, this is the living room. He said, you don't have stoves in the living room. I said, well, in my apartment, on one side, he said, no, this is a kitchen. I said, no, it's a living room with a kitchen. He said, then it's a kitchenette. I said, that's what it is. He said, that's not a living room. It's still kitchen. So they say the darndest, they just flat out say whatever's on their mind. Adults just hold it back.
I hear you. No, it's you're definitely right about that. Where it's your kids have no filter.
None. No filter at all. My friend granddaughter asked me. She looked me in my face and she was like, "What are you looking at?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "What are you looking at?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Normally, if I'm in Harlem and somebody say to me, "What are you looking at?" I'd be like, "Shit," so I won't step in it. That's me. Right? I almost told that girl that. I was looking at her, I was so scared. I was like, "I'm looking at your hair, it look nice." She said, "Oh, that's more like it, because you just was staring at me like you wanted to fight or something." I was like, "No, I don't want to fight you." And she's only 5. So
it's true. Kids do say the darndest. Did you watch that show growing up when Cosby was hosting it?
No.
You never watched that show, huh?
No.
I think
I watched it with Steve Harvey. Did it?
Yeah, didn't they? I was just gonna say they remade it with Steve Harvey, right?
When Steve Harvey did it, yeah, I watched it then. Yeah, it was funny.
Who was like the most influential comedian to you growing up?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, and look at you! You got to work for her.
I got to work for her.
Did she ever give you any like sage-like advice while you were on the clock there?
I did ask her a question, and she answered. She almost answered it.
Right.
But she didn't answer it. But I'm answering the question on my journey in book form.
Right.
So the book should be out, I guess, maybe next year. Next year for January 2021. I have enough in the book to answer the question.
Okay.
But it's a lot of footwork.
So Whoopi Goldberg was the most influential, huh?
Whoopi Goldberg. I love.
Did you like the
Red
movie
Fox.
How Stella Got Her Groove Back? You've never seen that? How Stella Got Her Groove Back?
I did.
Oh. When she
went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great in that movie.
She was great in that movie. You want to know who I like? Ellen DeGeneres.
I like Ellen.
And her beginning, like her beginning stages of comedy, I love it. I love Ellen. Who else?
But I like how there's a theme with you. It's the daytime talk show host that you're really influenced by. Is that your ultimate goal, to be a daytime talk show personality?
My ultimate goal is Saturday Night Live. And I don't like telling people that. All I want to do is get on stage and do my monologue and turn around and say, "It's Saturday, bitches." That's all I want. That's it.
Have you watched the Saturday Night Live at Home, the last couple episodes they've done during the pandemic?
No, because I be sleep.
I feel like this is every conversation I have with a comedian that's wants to be on Saturday Night Live. Like, yeah, I want to be on it, but I haven't watched it in like 5 years.
No, I watch it.
Yeah.
I watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. I feel like that's how most people consume content now.
On YouTube?
Well, just watch it online later. They don't watch it the night of,
Yeah, because the night of, no, I like to see it when it marinated. Like, the only time I watched it when it was live was when Eddie Murphy was on it.
Yeah. And he was the best. When he was on it in the 80s, it was like, it might as well not have even been any other cast members. It was Eddie Murphy's show at that point,
True indeed. But I watched it with Leslie Jones.
I met Leslie Jones actually, and I gave her a script for a play that I wrote. I met her.
Did she take it?
She did take it. I gave her a script in a folder. This was when I was working at the Hartford Funny Bone, and she came and headlined at the Hartford Funny Bone, and I was working as a fry cook in the back. And when she left, I came out of the kitchen. I gave her the script. She took a picture with me, and then I also gave her a Ghostbusters tie that I had made for a show that I did at Halloween one year. And she mailed me back the script with like a letter saying that her lawyer says she can't take scripts from people.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a bummer, but she kept the tie though. She has the ghost. It was like the Ghostbusters ghost holding up the 3 for like Ghostbusters 3. This was before Ghostbusters. Their Ghostbusters came out, so I always wanted to do a Ghostbusters 3. She got a chance to do it. I gave her the tie. I guess she liked it.
So why don't you just do Ghostbusters 4?
They are making a Ghostbusters 4.
They are?
Yeah.
They go for it.
It's already being made. It's already in the works.
You can still be an extra.
I think it's too late. I think it's the production on it's already wrapped.
Oh.
But Leslie Jones, she's great. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about the whole thing? Like there wasn't enough black women on Saturday Night Live, and then like all of a sudden like Leslie Jones, it's like she came out of nowhere, you know?
I think that Leslie, she was out for a very long time, and people just probably everybody didn't know her, but she
Right.
was out for a very long time, very funny, and I just think timing is everything. It was just her season. We all have our seasons of when we're being noticed, and that was her season to be noticed. Put on a map.
It's true. She's great, but I think you're great too. Like I can't wait till we can get back to doing some real stand-up comedy. You know what I mean?
Right. Because doing it through Zoom, I gotta hear the laugh. I really gotta hear the laugh for me to go on.
Oh,
It's
that's
not
the point
even
I
the
was going to
laugh.
make with Saturday Night Live. These pandemic episodes they're doing are almost eerie to watch because there's no laughter. They're filming the sketches from home. They're doing Weekend Update from home, and there's no laughter. It's almost scary to watch.
It is, because laughter, it's not even about the laugh. When you hear the laugh, it's about somebody, they're giving you energy. They energize you. You connected, and they laughing, and the energy is there, so you're going to hit the next joke. You know what I mean? But you're doing it on Zoom, and you just like, motherfucker, that was funny while you not laughing, but you don't have an audience to laugh. I can't do it. I have to hear the laughs. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been reluctant to do the online or the cyber open mic. I feel like giving in to doing the cyber open mic is letting the government win. Like that's what I'm doing. Like the more cyber open mics I do, the less likely there is going to be a real open mic in the future. And I don't know.
Exactly. And that's how I feel. I feel like if we do everything online, they're saying to themselves, look, it can be done online. The only jobs that cannot be done online are law enforcement, right?
Right.
Doctors.
Yeah. Unless RoboCop becomes a real thing. The actual cop will just be sitting on a computer, and the RoboCop will be out there fighting crime.
That's scary. That is so scary. I wish they would have did the protest online.
Well, you won't have a robot kneeling on anyone's neck, I'll tell you that much. The guy sitting on the computer is going to think twice before he puts a robot on somebody, kneeling on somebody's neck. The robot will probably weigh like 2,000 pounds. Who knows? How much does RoboCop weigh? That's a good question to ask.
How much strength does Cop have? How much strength do we have?
I don't know.
Right. He can just pluck you and you fly 10 miles away. You feel like, damn, that was a hard pluck. But no, I think having open mic on Zoom is, I guess, is good. And people charge you to be in a mic on Zoom.
I would not do that in a million years. Pay to be a part of a fucking Zoom. You know what I feel really bad for is those people out there who always wanted to try stand-up and now they can't. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's got to be the worst. Now's a great time to start, by the way. Anyone that's ever told you, oh, I've always wanted to try stand-up. It's like, hey, now's a good time. Go on to one of these fucking...
Now is a good time. Now is a good time. What I don't like about the pandemic is it made me realize how much time I waste being home instead of being out at comedy clubs. I cannot wait for them to open the first comedy club in New York City. I might just spend the night in it.
Which clubs? Which one are you gonna hit first? Do you think? Which one are you going to hit first, do you think? Whichever one opens first, or do you have one in mind that you just want to, like, run to?
The Caroline's on Broadway.
Caroline's. And this is Caroline's. You invited me to come do a Monday show a couple times, and now I feel bad that I've turned those down because we're stuck inside.
we just stuck inside like doo 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 doo. My dog even gets tired of me being inside. Like, she wake me up in the morning like, bitch, don't you gotta go to work? Every morning she wake me up at 5:30.
Yeah. And what does the dog do when it realizes you're not going to work?
She go outside and get in her bed. She comes out in the hallway and get in her bed with her back turned to me.
Like kind of like in a pissy mood that you're still in the house?
Yeah. I think so. She don't like it.
Yeah.
She don't like me being in the house during a time where I should be at work.
Well, you know what? I think dogs can really feed off of people's emotions. Like, the dog doesn't want you in the house because, what's your dog's name, by the way?
Susie.
Susie doesn't want you in the house because she knows you don't want to be in the house.
I sure don't.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like that. It's like that old Carlin joke where he goes, "What do dogs do on their day off? Because it's their job to lay around." You know.
Mm-hmm. I believe when I'm not home, she be doing things that she shouldn't do. Like, I'm messing up her little routine.
Like what?
I don't know what she does when I'm not here. I think she be on my couch. She can't get on the couch now because I'm here.
Yeah.
So I think she be on the couch like, take this. Normally my books be off the shelf when I come in the house.
Really?
Yeah. Both of my Bibles. I have Bibles on the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah.
She have the Bibles on the floor every single day.
She thinks the word of the Lord is her chew toy.
I don't know. No matter where I put the Bibles at on my bookshelf, whenever I come in the house, them two Bibles is on the floor.
Yeah.
I guess she's saying, all dogs do go to heaven.
Maybe it's like that movie, The Secret Life of Pets, and she has other like animals over for some kind of religious group, like some kind of like Jehovah's Witness meeting for dogs.
Oh no! She rip up the pages in the back. The pages in the Bible is easy to rip up. So a lot of pages in the back of the Bible is ripped up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The back of the Bible, the New Testament is the one that's ripped up. Right out of the book of Matthew.
See? She ripped them up.
Right there. That's probably the gospel according to Matthew right there, which is my portion of the Bible, which I don't really appreciate.
So this is her little thing.
Yeah.
Ripping up my little pink Bible.
Sure she's not ripping out the pages and rolling doobies with the pages? I've heard some people do that with Bible paper.
I guess she liked the feeling on the Bible on her nails or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just watched a movie the other day. I don't know. I've been having like insomnia because of this, this pandemic going on. And I watched this movie the other day, and it was called Matthew, and it was about the book of Matthew in the Bible. And it keeps showing like Jesus on the mountaintop, like talking to like his people, and then it will cut to Matthew dictating what Jesus said to people for people to write in the Bible, and it was always a smidge different than what Jesus was actually saying. And I don't know, it just like it kind of like made me like annoyed, like that people take the Bible so seriously because it's not God himself writing the friggin' Bible. It's another dude that hung out with him. You know what I mean?
Facts. People take the Bible seriously. I remember having a joke about me being baptized.
Right.
And I said, straight out the water, they asked me, how do you feel? That's what they do. They stand around the pool of water and ask you, well, how do you feel? And it's like, how do you think I feel? What?
Wait, so but you were baptized as an adult?
Yes.
Okay. How old were you?
I was 28.
What made you decide to get baptized at 28?
The day that I went to the church, this pastor, he was on fire. He was on fire. It looked like he looked through my window and read everything that I was doing that I felt that was wrong.
Right.
And he offered. That offering was the same exact day that I went to church. I got baptized the first day I went to the church.
That's crazy because I got circumcised at 28.
You did?
No,
you did?
I'm kidding.
No, because I know somebody who got circumcised last year and they like in their 40s. But yeah, so I got baptized. It was a good thing because it made me see life differently.
Right.
It made me more spiritual. Now, the only scripture I know two scriptures, the 23rd Psalms and Ephesians 4, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. That's it.
Right.
And as long as I stick to those two, I'm good.
Agreed. That makes sense. How do you feel about the shellfish thing in the Bible?
What's the what?
You're supposed to eat shellfish.
In my Bible, it don't say that.
Yeah, because your dog ate the pages.
That's a funny joke. That is funny. Some parts of my Bible I don't get because the dog ate the pages. Show me in your Bible where that's at. Oh, I can't see that far. Let me stop.
You know what it's called? You know what it's called after your dog takes a crap and after it ate the Bible?
What it's called?
Holy shit.
That's funny. I didn't read where it says in the Bible I couldn't have shellfish.
I don't know. That was just always a thing. Like that's one of those things where I think like Jesus was like, "You're not supposed to be selfish," and then Matthew's dictating. He said you're not allowed to have shellfish.
I never read that in the Bible.
Like somebody didn't
I eat whatever I believe that you can eat whatever you want to eat as long as you pray over it. That's what prayer comes from.
No meat on Fridays. You never heard
what?
Good Friday? No meat?
Well, my mother we never ate meat on Fridays. We had fish.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was governed under her roof. Under my roof, I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat. I'm just going to pray over it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Agreed. All right. So
okay.
I now I know where you stand. Are your parents still around?
My dad is. My mother passed away when I was 13. But my dad, he lives in Chicago. He's still around.
Yeah. In
yeah.
Chicago, huh? You ever thought about going out to Chicago to do comedy? Or you did start an improv.
I want to travel the world to do comedy. I want to do like a world tour. Like tour and go from state to state and then just go around the world just making people laugh.
Who
Like,
does?
I want to just pack up in a car and just go from state to state doing comedy.
I think it's time. After I feel like I've just been charging my comedy batteries, basically watching fucking every sitcom on TV during this pandemic, and I just want to just go right off and just start hitting every mic and show and everything I could possibly do to do stand up. You know?
Right. Just everything. I just want to go from state to state. Just wind up in Hicktown somewhere. Like, I want to tell jokes tonight, and they looking at me like, what? Let me get on your stage tonight and tell some jokes. And they like,
well,
what?
I could take you to a great. I could take you to a great hick bar up here in Connecticut if you want to do an open mic. If you want to do an open mic at this place called Pistol Pete's, there's a bunch of rednecks there if you want to do stand up here.
Will they let me?
Yeah, they'll let you. If you're getting laughs, I don't know if you'll be able to do that, but
I'm able to make anybody laugh.
okay, I want to put you to the test.
I'm able to make anybody laugh. We should do that as a reality show. I'm able to make anyone laugh. I read that. What you say? Call it what?
Me and you do a redneck tour?
No. The tour would be I'm able to make anyone laugh.
I think should be all redneck bars along the East Coast.
Nah, that'd be too much. You know, it's hard to make Black people laugh.
It is.
It's hard to make Black people laugh.
I know.
Very hard.
I mean, you know better than anyone. How far are you from the Apollo?
Not far.
Yeah?
Not far.
Have you done the Apollo?
I am petrified.
Yeah?
I didn't do it yet, though. They do have comedy nights on Thursday nights.
Yeah?
Yep.
Why? What makes you so afraid to do the Apollo?
Because in my mind, Apollo is made for boo. Boo.
Yeah.
So I grew up going to the Apollo. And
are you afraid it's going to break you if you get booed at the Apollo? Do you think that'll break you?
No.
So why not? Why not just go and do it?
If I bomb at the Apollo, if I bomb at any show or I get booed, it's not going to break me. It's going to make me work my craft differently. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and see what I can fix.
Anytime you bomb, anytime I've ever bombed, I've always looked at it as a learning experience. Like, you can only get better from, you know what, bombing is actually good for you. The only thing that's bad for you is, like, if you do badly on stage and you get off stage and somebody starts telling you how great you did. You know? Uh-huh. Has that ever happened to you?
It happened to me. I had a good friend and she brought her boyfriend. And I went into like a little shell and got shy on stage. Right. And so I just started talking like really low and just was like, yeah, but I did get some laughs, right? And he never told me I did a good job. She was like, you funny. She said, you funny because I love you. That's what she said. She said, you're funny because I love you. But her boyfriend never said anything. And I was on a train. We all was on a train on our way back uptown. Right. And I had said something, and he looked at me, and he said, you need to have that attitude and that what you have right now on stage. Yeah. I never put two to two together because I was telling a story. He said, you're funnier now on the train than you were on stage. He said, when you get this that you have on the train right now on stage, you'll be superb. And I was like, okay. And that didn't click. It did not click.
Isn't that interesting though? Because that's what we were talking about in the beginning, where you said it's all about like looking to be comfortable on stage. Like you're comfortable on the train because you're in your element, you know. Like
right.
Like on stage, though, you have to find a way to be that same thing. I think that's great advice to give anyone who's listening to this podcast. That's great advice. Like, be who you are. Like, it's just like how I've always thought, like, right, being in the back of the bus, like fucking around with your friends, like the funniest you are then, like is like the funniest you'll ever be. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think comedians are all trying to recapture that for people to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right. I did a show at a rehabilitation center with old schoolers. And it was like 45 people there. And I had 30 minutes to do the show. And I invited one of my childhood friends. We knew each other for like over 30 years. And she recorded the show. I didn't get no laughs from those people at the rehabilitation center. No one really laughed. They like, where are the jokes? When are you going to tell a joke? At the end of the show, at the end of my 30 minutes, I said, you know what? I left my job to follow my dream as a stand-up comedian. And every last one of them, all 45 people, said at the same time, well, that was a bad decision. And I could not stop laughing. My friend started recording. She had the thing recording all of them saying, well, that's a bad decision. And when we left, we went to Boston Market. It was in the Bronx. We went to Boston Market, and we were sitting at her name was Lashima, Halashima Young. We were sitting at the table, and she said, we need to talk. And I said, okay. She said, and I'm going to talk to you about your comedy. I can't tell you how to be a comedian. I can't tell you. But I'm going to tell you this as a friend. I know you're funny. I see you have what it takes to grab an audience, to make them laugh. But the one thing when you was on stage for that 30 minutes is I didn't understand where you was coming from. I didn't understand you. If you can make the audience understand where you coming from point A to point B to point C, you will master your craft. She said, now book another show. So I was like, I gotta wait a couple. She said, book another show. And I booked the show with Evan Weiss. And I came up with this thing. I don't like the fact. And every joke that I told before I got into the premise, I said, I don't like the fact that was the funniest show that I did within those 10 years. The second funniest show that I did. You see people in the audience laughing, and one of the girls was crying, and I was like, oh, so I need to put my personality to, like, because I don't like something. And that grabs the attention to the audience. A lot of people in the audience don't like things. And here it is, I'm telling them, I don't like the fact that I had to go back out with my ex. And it was just like really funny because a lot of us go back out with our ex and we don't like it.
Once you give it exactly that type of framework you're talking about, make it so the person in the audience can relate to exactly what you're going through. And it could be something as simple as what you just said.
Yeah. So since then, I saw my jokes getting better and better and better, and I'm getting more comfortable on the stage.
But like also, one time I got on also with the rehabilitation center, you know what they say? Like, they say that like a comedian shouldn't blame the audience. Sometimes you can have a shitty audience, and a rehabilitation center is not a comedy club audience. You know?
It's not.
You're not gonna get the same reactions from a crowd like that. You know what I mean?
This guy that had a stroke, they said he don't talk to nobody. He had a stroke. He was sitting over watching me. Right. So they said he don't talk to no one. He got up from the table and came over to me, and he said, "You did a good job. Just never stop." And he took like 10 minutes to say that little sentence to me because he was talking with a slur. He told me, "You did a good job, just never stop." And I said, "Just for you, I would never stop." And he went right back over there and sat down. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, at least you may awaken one person." He was the only one
you're
that
like
really.
Robin Williams in the movie Awakenings. You bombed so hard you woke up a vegetable. Oh my God.
That was the funniest thing ever. He walked over. He got up. He said, "You did a good job. Just never stop." I was like, okay. I know you should have seen the people. They were sitting there like, "Well, when is you gonna tell a joke?" And I had already told 15 jokes. It's so funny. That was funny. But yeah.
Because I've only seen you perform once, and I just want to compliment you real quick that you just seem, when I did see you, you just seem so in your element. And I've watched a couple of your videos of stand up on Facebook today just to refresh me of your style. And obviously, like the club atmosphere, you are totally in your element. Like, you know, when it comes to you know, being yourself or being comfortable, being that person making the jokes on the subway, the club comic that you know become today, you're definitely in your element in the club scene. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That took a lot of work. I thank Evan Weiss though, because he give you opportunity after opportunity, and that's Greenwich Village made me so comfortable. It was like, okay, I got this. But yeah, I just need to level up, take it to the next level. Because you can't keep doing the same things and expect spectacular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to do something different. I call my jokes remix. I'm remixing them.
Let me ask you, was the last time you were on stage before this shit started, do you feel like it was anticlimactic, or do you think it was a good show?
I didn't do not one show this year.
Really? Why not?
My first show was supposed to be February 28th, and I was sick.
Okay.
And then my second show was supposed to be April 13th, and I had to they canceled. They shut everything down. So
have you been at least practicing at mics or anything?
Nope.
No.
I normally practice I practice when I'm writing in my notebook.
Yeah.
My practice is when I write in my notebook, and then I go over stuff. But it's going to be like full blast, like.
You know what? I think you should blast yourself out of a cannon for your comeback. I think you need to. I think your first time on stage when we come back from the pandemic, you got to get your ass on stage at the Apollo and be that person that's comfortable on the subway telling jokes. Just picture yourself on the subway and not at the Apollo when you're doing it, and just fucking do it.
The Apollo is nerve-wracking when you boo so many people. But the Apollo is not performing at the Apollo is not performing at amateur night.
Say it again.
So performing at the Apollo is not like performing at amateur night at the Apollo. Right. So it's two different Apollos. They have Apollo Comedy Club, where they do comedy night. I will do it one day. I'll do it before this year's out.
That's what I want to hear. That you're going to do it before the year's out.
I'm telling you, this pandemic make me want to go outside and go to everybody's comedy club. I'm doing comedy here tonight.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to ask you here, because I think we're kind of winding down. I don't know. Is there anything you want to plug? Is there anything you wanna plug for?
Yes. If you need a mug, it could be a comedy mug or essential worker or queen of social distance. Hit me up. Addie Brown, Brown Girl Comedy at gmail.com or Brown Girl Comedy on Instagram.
Okay.
Follow me. Instagram.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Ed,
Thanks,
thank you so
Matt.
much for being on my podcast. It was nice. It was refreshing, and I hope everything goes well in Harlem down there. I'm worried about all you guys, all my friends that are comics down there, all my family, because I know like that's like really ground zero for the pandemic right now, and I hope there's nobody crazy looters and all the bullshit that I've been reading in the news. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
anything bad to happen to anybody. I don't want anybody to get sick, you know?
Right. But thanks for having me on your podcast. I'll invite me anytime. This was dope.
Well, I let me know as soon as Caroline's opens back up, and I'd love to come down and do a show with you.
Yes, yes. Be ready.
I
Be
will.
ready.
All right.
All right. All right. Bye-bye. You too.